stories begin. Welcome to the ride.
Good Saturday evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies, the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. I know you used to seeing me with the People's Choice Don Rodriguez and the Nubian Sumo. Well, they are on special assignment tonight, so you just get me. And I thought I wanted to do something a little special because I didn't want to take off the night. I wanted to come in and do something, like I said, special. As you can see by the title, a thank you. And I wanted to start it off from the beginning, man. Just giving a thank you to those that made this possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. Back in 2017, and we always say 2017. 2017 means a lot. It means the world to us surrounded at the Sideline Junkie headquarters. We started, and I say we, the boss BJ, Big Jim, Junie, and myself. We started on a platform called Zcast, and we could only broadcast live on Twitter at the time, and with the hiccups and everything, and we just be talking. We didn't have no flashy intro. We didn't even have a name. So no flashy intros, no name, no backgrounds as you see right here. None of that, right? We try to figure out, what are we going to do? Are we going to do this, part-time? What are we going to do, right? You fast forward a little ways, 6 months, because that was about July. So we talking 9 years. So that was about July 2017. And you fast forward about 6 months. January, BJ finds a platform called Anchor. And, Anchor has this thing where you do your audio podcast, you record it. We had commercials. We had pre-roll commercial, mid-roll commercial, post-roll commercial. Like, we had some things. We finally got a name, and we started out with Out of Bounds Podcast. And on February 10th, 2018, we published our first episode. And that started from four guys that had known each other for quite some time, family actually. And every Saturday we would get together and we would talk basketball, talk about what was coming up in football, and anything else that came and tickled our fancy. And then you get to the birth of the Wrestemaniacs in August of 2018. And a phone call went out to I can't even call him a friend. Phone call went out to a family member. And, you got to get your wrestling savant. So the deal was pitched to me, hey, you and Don do a wrestling show once a week. Okay, I'm down for it. We come in and we start the thing off hot. We don't really have a name per se for the show. By this time, we had switched over to being the Sideline Junkies. And next thing you know, we do this wrestling show where Don does the top 10 tag teams. And first WrestleManiacs show was nothing but controversy because he didn't have the Road Warriors, the number one tag team of all time. That's been controversy for now going on 8 years. Okay. So you start off with controversy. And what does controversy do? Creates cash. A la Eric Bischoff. And we've been rolling strong ever since. We go, I think, 2 years? I only think it was 2 years because that was, nope, because Sumo came in before. I think we went about a year and a half and Sumo joins us. And it's like NWO all over again. And Sumo opened the door to not only him being a part of the team, we get Perry in, we get Raj in, when Sumo goes on tour, as I like to call it, and they're all sitting around talking wrestling, we can get that on recorded. It's nothing but fire, Now, here we are in 2026, and we have evolved from doing one show every Saturday. As far as the WrestleManiacs go, doing one show every Saturday. We evolved from doing a regular podcast every Saturday to, at one point in time, having a different show every week. Every day of the week. At one point in time, you had the Sunday Rise, where you got up with us in the morning on Sundays, and we used to cover every NFL game. So if it was the first game of the season, or it was the second week of the season, we covered the 1 o'clock games, the 4 and the 8 o'clock games on Sunday, as well as the Monday night game, all on Sunday. We recorded 2 episodes to release them. Then Monday we came with the Monday Mayhem. But during COVID, we had a series called Madhouse Monday, where we broke down all 6 parts of the Last Dance. We sat down and we broke that whole thing down. Tuesday, of course, the staple, Tuesday Night Flight. Wednesday, we had Wind Up Wednesdays. Thursday, the Thursday Night Throwdown. Friday was Freestyle Friday. Of course, Saturday was the WrestleManiacs. We also had Redskins Perspective that turned into DC Perspective. DC Sports Perspective, I'm sorry. Which we just covered all DC sports. And we're talking about resurrecting that in later on this year. And we just cover nothing but DC sports one day of the week. Now we've evolved to every day of the week you have a show here on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, sometimes 2. So right now the lineup is, on Sunday you had the Sunday Rise, 11 a.m. Monday you have Drive Time with Scooter, Showtime, and Matty Ice at 5 p.m. Pretenders or Contenders with Coach Devon and the Midnight Rider at 7. Then Tuesday you got Unapologetic at 6:30 with Flying Brian and Lee Ice. Probably one of the hottest segments on the network is Flying High in the Icebox. Then right after that at 7:45, you had the Tuesday Night Flight with the Midnight Rider and myself. Wednesday, you have Nothing But Net with C. Perry II, the Nephew Josh, JG, and the Midnight Rider. Thursday, you had a Thursday Night Throwdown at 7:15. Friday, you had a Friday Night Freestyle, which is a suggestion box, at 7:15. Saturday, depending on how it works out, we should be having a Gridiron episode, which is probably the greatest fictitious sports show in the world, Craig, in the world, at 11 a.m. on Saturday, followed by the WrestleManiacs at 9 p.m. on Saturday night. Now, I say this as a thank you because we've come so far to get to the point where we are right now. And you got to throw the shot out and say thank you to those that made it possible. And I'll start at the beginning. Big Jim, our first resident Laker fan, our first resident Steeler fan, along with the next man I'm going to mention. To get personal about Big Jim, he taught. I'll credit him, and I'll say he's one of the ones that taught myself and the boss BJ how it is to move as a man. So, on so many levels, thankful for Jim. So many levels, thankful. Always will be, always going to be thankful. You know, that's one of those guys, man. And no matter if you see him on screen or you don't, he still sits on the board. We still run stuff by him. He's pretty much our Ron Simmons. You want to buy a house, you talk to Big Jim first. So next up is our other resident Pittsburgh Steelers fan, one of our resident Wizard fans. And that's a thank you to Junie. The man that's cool as ice, twice as nice, and ain't never had a bad day in his damn life. He's away from the mic right now. Hopefully, with prayers being sent up, he can get back behind the mic, because it was plenty of nights that me and Junie got on and we got behind the mics and we got to rolling. We supposed to be doing a 45-minute show, and we done looked up and we almost at 2 hours, because we started talking 90s basketball and who would beat who, and this is why it would come down to this, and don't you remember this player, how much they could score. That was my NBA partner. That is my NBA partner. I miss him tremendously. I can't wait until he gets back behind the mic. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't put me, him, and the Midnight Ride on the same show. We going 4 hours. We going 4 hours, and it's going to probably be the best 4 hours you ever spend with us. Because you got guys that know how to play and know how to look at the game of basketball. It's over. It's over. Don't even worry about it. It's over. When that day comes, I can't wait. That's all I'm going to say. I can't wait. Next up is the man of the hour, Tower of Power, too sweet to ever be sour. And that is Delonte. Delonte came in, what were we? I think we were 2 or 3 episodes in. And he came in, he was resident Broncos fan. And when I tell you, he jumped in and rolled with it. You know, he not only did he do Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, it was many a night he came in on Saturday. And he did the push on Saturday where he talked about the week in wrestling. And we made sure we knocked that in there, man. And we got it done. You know, the boss BJ, because he had an idea and he said, we got to work. He does the technical side. That's one thing. We have a hierarchy, and the hierarchy is like we all sit in the same office and we just all come up and brainstorm. Hey, I think this will work. That's the hierarchy. Being able to be at a network and you sit with so many people and everybody has a different opinion. But with those different opinions, you look at him like, damn, if that works, do that. And the boss BJ, we've sat countless times, whether it was in my dining room at the table, his house in the living room, or in the kitchen. Hell, we went out somewhere to eat, and we sat down and we brainstormed. You know, the People's Choice Don Rodriguez, because he is the engine that makes the Wrestlemaniacs run. But from a marketing standpoint, with his background, absolute genius. Absolute genius. The Midnight Rider, James Brown of Podcast World. You'll always hear us call him the hardest working man in podcast land, because that's what he is. If he ever needs a Bobby Bird, I volunteer his tribute to be his Bobby Bird. Because that man puts in work, and it's no time. He punches no clock, no time. He showed up one day and saved me from drowning. I'm not even gonna lie. He saved me from drowning on an episode. And then he would show up and comment, and he would keep it going. Absolute joy to work with. Absolute joy to know. The Nubian Sumo. I call Don the engine of the Wrestlemaniacs. The Nubian Sumo is the transmission. And it's not one of those regular transmissions. It's a high performance, high power transmission with so many gears and everything, with the paddle shifters and everything, sophisticated. He is quite possibly, between him and Perry, I don't know whose wrestling knowledge is deeper, but when I got a question about something I don't understand, Perry, Sumo, Don, that's who I'm reaching out to about all of it. All of it. They are what make this network go. You have, like I mentioned, Perry, C. Perry II, basketball aficionado, wrestling aficionado. Just roll with it. Love it. He your host of Nothing But Net. Matty Ice, the hockey guru. I've never been excited about hockey outside of the Caps run in 2019, but I haven't been excited about hockey since then. Matty gets me excited about hockey. Same thing with Scooter. As far as historical things go, and hockey history, Scooter's the man. Scooter's the man. Showtime Sarah. Her hate train, and just what she brings to Drive Time is impeccable. And it's awesome. And she knows what she's talking about when it comes to baseball. She says she's not really well versed in hockey, but she can give you some hockey tidbits to make you say, damn. Coach Devon, a high school pipeline, like everything right then and there, all of it. And you need to know something about high school, what's going on with high school sports. Coach Devon's your man. That's where you go to. PG County Sports is where you go to. Flying Brian. The image GOAT, because him and Midnight Rider be competing for that, and they be like, that's GOAT 1 and GOAT 2 when it comes to images being made, and they are absolutely excellent at it. Flying Brian brings something to the table that it can't be matched. His energy, his knowledge, just everything that he does. Same thing with Lee Ice. Lee Ice, knowing, the depths of things that happen in DC and Maryland and sports, and man, never knew we were getting two gentlemen that could take off, and for lack of a better term, for not to be funny, but take flight on a Tuesday, and you forget that you got a show right after them. Awesome duo. I love the show that they do. And most importantly, a thank you to you, the fans. And I just want to say thank you, because if it wasn't for you watching and continuing watching, we wouldn't have not a thing that we have here. So make sure I got everybody. I want to make sure I ain't miss nobody here. I got Perry, Sumo, Scooter, Showtime Sir, Lee Ice, Matty Ice, Midnight Rider, Boss BJ, Flying Brian, Coach Powell. Oh, can't forget about the correspondent. That's our golf expert. And we always say talking golf with the correspondent whenever we can. And I'm like, he's been busy with the big job the last few weeks. Can't forget about him. So I do apologize in advance, but can't forget about him. Talking golf with him makes a game that seems so slow seem exciting, because he gives you what to look for, what to watch for. Now, everybody that I named, not only are they great on-air talents, they are also great people off the air. And I always say, when you ask for dreams to come true, this is the feeling of a dream coming true. Because when we first fleshed this out and we talked about it, we said, yeah, man, we want to be able to do this and do that. And somebody can't make a show. We got somebody to fill in, and we can do this, and we can do that. And here we are. We at that point now. We at that point, we have a lineup. And that lineup is what the tagline of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network is. Consistently consistent. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to every host on the network. Thank you to everybody that's watched, everybody that consumes this show, whatever show you consume, whether it's the Wrestemaniacs, Nothing But Net, Drive Time, Pretenders on Contenders, doesn't matter. Whatever you consume, thank you. Because your consumption of something on this network benefits us all. And, individually, if I had to pick fans or listeners or watchers or whatever you want to call them, I like to call them family. Anthony, Sam R, to be like right there, two of the most consistent. Sam, wherever you at, you see this, we miss you in the comments there. Hope to see and hear from you soon, but we do miss you. As far as the Wrestlemaniacs go, if I have to turn into the spokesperson for the Wrestlemaniacs, thank you, WWE, AEW, Asahi Wrestling, GCW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, the Monday Night Wars, NWA, OVW, Crockett Promotions, Jordan Grace, Naomi, NWO, the Usos, DX, The Click, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Attitude Era, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. Because y'all give us content every damn week. So thank you for that. I will say this, since we're talking Wrestlemaniacs. I will say this. A lot of things you hear on this show, we're telling you the truth. I want to give a shout out, a pat on the back to my Wrestlemaniac brothers, Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs, because during COVID, the Thunderdome was Don's idea. He talked about doing it during the show, but you have monitors in the seats with people on the monitors to simulate the crowd. And next thing you know, we got the Thunderdome, the 24/7 championship. Now you got AEW doing Worlds Collide. That was a WrestleManiac thing. I mean, I'll say this. We come up with a lot of ideas on this show, and we don't get credit for them. And speaking of ideas on this show, it was an idea that was expressed last week when we were doing the Night of Champions React. And shout out to the Four Corners of Wrestling podcast, the Four Corner Boys, Jay Will, Multi-Man T, Hollywood, Coach Hollywood. I'm sorry, Multi-Man T. I got Hollywood on the brain. Jay Will and King Mill. Shout out to you guys, because you guys made that show. It was already great. You guys made it awesome. And I just wanted to say that. I want to say you guys made it awesome. And it was an idea expressed last week. I got to find the clip so I can post it. Because once it gets done, go ahead and pay the man his money. Pay him his money. Get him his bread. Because that's what we be waiting on. Just waiting on the payment. But I'm just here. I'm overwhelmed. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we can actually say these things, and we can say, hey, we've gotten here at this point to be able to really talk about wrestling as a whole. And we have a platform to talk about wrestling. But then on the bigger scene, we got a platform to talk about sports. And it wouldn't happen if we didn't have you, the fans, you, the viewers, you, the listeners. Because when we were just a bunch of guys sitting behind a mic talking, you know, we would talk amongst ourselves about distribution. And when those links and deals start coming in, it's always a beautiful thing. COVID messed up a lot, I'll tell you that. Because we used to get emails upon emails about people that listen to us on their way to work. They listen to us the next day on their way to work. Oh, man, y'all talked about this last night, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents. And once everybody stopped going to work for that time during the pandemic, we lost a lot of steam. And I told DJ, I said, I hope that COVID does not kill what we're trying to build. But it didn't. It made it bigger. So, man, I'm not going to keep y'all much longer. I just wanted to come in here and fill in for the Nubian Sumo and the People's Choice, Don Rodriguez. And I just wanted to just say thank you. All live, just thank you. And I'm sitting here, and this is live, by the way. This is live. Right now it's live at 9:29 on July 4th. I just want to say thank you. I never thought that we would get to this point where we have so much motion, so much going on. It's a beautiful thing. And damn it, I'm happy about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Sideline Junkies present to you the greatest wrestling show in the world, the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. And I'm damn proud, damn happy to be a part of it. So, from those that were with us from the day one, from those of you that came in later on down the line, don't matter when you came in. Appreciate your contributions. To every show host that is on this network right now as I speak. I try to tell y'all as much as I possibly can. Thank you for everything that you do. Little do you know, you making dreams come true. To the founders, Big Jim, Junie, the boss BJ, from your fellow founder. Thank y'all. Big Jim, thank you on more than one level. Junie, thank you on more than one level. BJ, thank you on more than one level. And that's coming from the bottom of my heart. Special message to Junie. Get well soon, brother. I can't wait until we get to the point where you back behind the mic. I keep saying it, when you back behind the mic, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of catching up to do. We got a lot to go through and everything. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do what the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs started. And I'm going to do something big. And I'm going to say, wrap that shit up, B. And in my wrap that shit up, B, tomorrow at 11 a.m., get up with the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network for the Sunday Rise at 11 a.m. The Midnight Rider, myself, we will go over NBA, MLB if we have anything. I know we got the Miles Report. We'll be talking what you're eating. I think we're doing fries. Let me see what else I got on this notes here. Well, because I wrote some notes down. I think that's about it. We doing fries. We did the ESPN. If you didn't check us out on Thursday, we did the ESPN. The ESPN Mount Rushmore for shows. We might be doing anchors this Thursday, so get that ready for Thursday. But as far as tomorrow, get on up with us 11 a.m. and get your day started, get your week started. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, normally these are the lines of the People's Choice, Don Rodriguez, and the Nubian Sumo. But diversify your bonds and konnichiwa, bitches.